Hi there, I'm just wanting to do a little talk, and I think I want to talk about what happens, or what happened to me after this spiritual awakening. And, you know, I'm not going to go too far into it, you know, because a lot of it is quite deep actually, you know, because for about a week I didn't really know what was happening. It came out of nowhere, and I sat up one day and I instinctively knew basically how to access within, that everything was within me. It was an instinct thing, but because the changes were so drastic, it was a shock, you know. And it took me about a week to actually grasp what had actually happened. I didn't know fully, but I had an idea that it was a deep spiritual experience, that it was my time to have that experience. And a bit like when you see films and you see someone going to the light that they're actually showing you is symbolic. The light is actually within you. That's how you access the light. And everyone has a time when they're meant to return to that. And it's when you're ready to go to that. Everyone's got a different journey that they're going on. And I think that you have to suffer enough before you decide. I think it's a case of you decide to awaken. Because that's what it was for me. It was a case of sitting up one day and I decided. And all of us, I didn't know what an awakening was. I'd never heard of it. I didn't know we even called it a spiritual awakening. But it was like an instinct thing, like I just said. And all of a sudden, everything became me. And for a few years, I didn't know, you know, when I first had this, if I was going mad or what. And then after, you know, a little while, I started looking on YouTube and online for people that with similar experiences. And I found that it's all over the place. That people for thousands of years have been having the same experiences all over the world. And there's a big global awakening going on now, where people have had these experiences and they're sharing it and showing you how to do the same thing. And that's basically what happened in my awakening. And also, you know, what I noticed is I noticed so many changes. I mean, I was 24 then, I'm 31 now, my experience now. So 7 years, and the changes that I noticed changes how I felt, obviously. Obviously you're ascending, so you're not the same person because you're ascending. It's like my mum says, you're not the same person, you're not the same Sean. That's because I've ascended, you see. That old me was the asleep me. But when I had the awakening, because I was seeing from a different perspective, you see. The asleep version was seeing everything as separate, and I've got no power, and everything is everyone else's fault. But then when I awakened, I knew that everything was me, and everything's one. And it's only the illusion that duality presents that presents this separation. And when you awaken, everything becomes, you're returning to the oneness. Everything's just infinite oneness. And I've been shown step by step how this works. And it's like in science. Science talks about something called reflector consciousness. Science talks about how it's nothingness originally, and how that from nothing comes a reflector consciousness. Now, basically the reflector of the nothing. Now, once you have the reflector of the nothing, you have awareness. It's aware of itself then, it's aware of its infinity. So that's really what we are, just an infinity of awareness, you see. That's really what we are. And, of course, you know, as we're ascending, you know, this path of mine and the path that we're all on is going back to our natural state, which is infinite abundance. Our natural state is not wanting things. As you awaken, as you're ascending more and more, the less you're chasing, the less you're wanting. Because, like, I have a desire, I have no outward desires now. And people think it's strange. People probably that know me think it's very, very strange. How is he not wanting these things anymore? It's because I have a bigger desire to know who I truly am. To access this infinite self. And all the infinite layers of this infinite self. And so that's why it goes away. And this is why I'm ascending now to this infinite abundance. Where I'm attracting infinite growth all the time. And that's what infinite abundance is. It's not money, it's not this. It's infinite growth in infinite forms. You know, abundance is not money, because money necessarily doesn't mean you're going to grow. You know, it can actually be against you actually in some ways. Infinite abundance is infinite growth. So you're learning, you're finding clarity all the time about things. Oh, I understand that, and it's constant going on. It's like you're becoming this Christmas tree, and this infinite lights and gifts are forming around you. That's what infinite abundance is. It's infinite growth. But a lot of people think it's like law of attraction, and you're attracting what you want. That's the low vibrational, asleep way of thinking. And as you ascend more, the less that you'll be interested in that, because you have a bigger desire now. And that is to find out what's within, what is your true self. And the true self, as I said, is the infinity. And so what you're doing, you're always communicating with this infinity as you're ascending more and more. So that's why the outward desires changes, because you realise it's not outward you need to look, but it's within. It's within you. It's like all the power in orgonite or a crystal is the same infinite power. You've got infinity of that power within you, because the crystals are you. It's not separate from you, they are you, because it's all one. But it's just this duality, like I said earlier in the video. We've got to have duality so we can experience something, if you're awareness. So that's why you must experience the orgonite or the crystal as separate, when actually they are one of the same consciousness. Just experienced in a duality form, when it's actually an infinite non-dual. But the duality is expressed through to experience separation and separate lives. And so this is the understanding of oneness. But anyway, I'm just going to end it there. I think I've explained some good things in that video. If you're watching, you're meant to watch it. Everything follows the divine order. Everything is within you. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you.